Okay, so starting our meditation, come to a seated posture with your eyes closed. Your seat can change. It can be on your back, it can be on a chair. Beginning to recognize some of these external rules that we can feel pressured to follow. Checking in with your surroundings, noticing the different sounds, sensations that might be coming from your external space and acknowledging them now. Moving away from this idea that things need to be perfect in order for us to meditate. Things can be exactly as they are and we can meditate. Bringing your awareness inside and doing the same. Noticing what parts of yourself are calling out. Maybe it's physical sensations, feelings, thoughts. Holding that same cup of awareness, not needing anything in your internal environment to change for you to meditate. We start by acknowledging it so it doesn't surprise us. We don't think that thing shouldn't be there. We include it. Begin to bring your awareness to your breath. This will be our anchor point for our meditation, the sensations around breathing. And when we use our breath as an anchor, we don't need to change the breath, make the breath different than it is. We're simply using the sensations of the breath to keep us anchored in our meditation. When you feel yourself wander, if you can notice it with a little bit of humor and come back to the breath. Maybe noticing if you're beginning to accumulate stress or tension. You are again noticing it with a little bit of humor and seeing if you can be open to what's here now. A lot of times stress comes from not wanting things to be the way they are. But the more we can open to whatever is present, then the stress might not accumulate as much. And then we're going to shift our awareness to noticing our thoughts. The mind thinks, that's what it does, just like the body produces enzymes and does all this other stuff for us, the mind thinks. It's not that we want to stop thinking, but learning that we can hold the container as the mind thinks. So normally when the mind thinks, it triggers some kind of response in us and then we're reactionary. As we notice the mind thinking, I want you to imagine you're like a cat. I learned this from Tara Brach. You're like a cat and you're looking at a little mouse hole. And the mice are the thoughts. So you're just watching this mouse hole thought of awareness, because you're a cat, you want to capture the mouse. And if a thought comes, you might gently name it thought. And then imagine that that mouse kind of goes away, and then you're looking at the mouse hole again. I'll give you a few minutes to focus on the thoughts, having that same playfulness attitude, not getting discouraged when you catch the mind thinking, just checking in with how active the thinking mind is right now. Continuing to watch the thoughts, remembering it's not about necessarily not thinking, but being mindful that the mind produces thoughts. And being able to hold those thoughts without it creating as much of a reaction in your system. Another strategy is counting the thoughts to keep an anchor. Trusting yourself if that seems like it would be helpful or not. And then beginning to shift your awareness back to the sensations of your breath. You might have noticed that your mind thought a little, thought a lot. Maybe there was lots of thoughts. Maybe there was a few really loud, repetitive thoughts. And sometimes to me, it feels like there's like a little council inside my head, and they're all trying to yell so that they can be heard. And the sitting meditation on the thoughts can be a chance to let them be heard. So they don't take up as much space and volume and noise in your mind. For these last few moments of our meditation, use the mantra, what is here, or something else that's similar. And imagine that with every moment or with every breath, You're just taking an internal snapshot of what's here now. Trying to not judge it. Every moment, a new internal snapshot. Nothing to do except noticing what's here. And bring your hands up to your heart. Keep your eyes closed. Breathe into the heart. If there's an intention you'd like to start your day or week with, think of it now. Really nice. And bring the hands back down to your thighs. If your eyes blink open. Awesome. Gina, did you know that I have switched Mondays to doing movement as well?
Yes, you told me.
Okay. So I want to make sure before I started doing yoga that you're
I'm fully on board.
Okay, let's start by taking our legs out in front of us and getting into the hips. And fingertips behind the back, up on the heels, rocking the knees from one side to the other. Getting into the femurs, into the hip sockets, getting into the length of the side body, up into the chest. Now, when it comes to your request about this like body image stuff and people, triggering people for this kind of like society brainwashing that we're all in, and it's just so easy to be triggered. What's helpful for me, so I also get triggered by this kind of stuff, is to think about the younger generations and how I don't want them to like have to hold this much of body stuff and appearance that like other generations have had to have. That's really helpful for me. Violet every once in a while talks about herself being fat. It's like so infuriating. So that really helps me be like, I'm going to not listen to you and save the younger generation. And just being really aware of when the thoughts come in about the past situation, then I want to react to in the present. Something I've been working with too is my body has changed quite a bit the past year. So it's not only like normal food stuff, it's like, well, lots of us, our bodies look different. So getting used to that is challenging for me. Okay. I'm back through center, feet on the floor. We're gonna take the right hand behind the back and take the left hand over the shoulder. We're gonna get in, I feel like you're ready to, you're gonna be fine to get in. So we're gonna lift up our hips, go forward and back a little bit, and then push into the hand and begin to lift up to like a reverse table. Strong right hand. If it feels good, you can take your left elbow over your head so that your left hand comes behind your head, and then you can push your head back into your hand. Make this a little bit pendiculaty. Hit some pendiculations, so if it feels good for you to sway or stretch here, however the body calls to you. And then when you're ready, we'll come down. I got so when the hand comes here, it makes it a little bit simpler to get into this action. So we can get away with doing at the beginning of class, so pushing into the feet, strong left hand, maybe forward and back. Left shoulder stays in the socket. As the hips come up, And then maybe elbow stretches up over the forehead, right hand behind the head, lengthening the skull away from the sacrum. Really nice, and come down. Okay. Roll over your knees, come to table. And let's do some cat-cows. Push through your hands around your spine. Inhale. And then exhale, arch your spine, belly button. You can make these cat-cows change however you'd like into any kind of intuitive table movement here. And the next time you exhale, tuck your toes, send your bum up, downward facing dog. Invite the legs up. So you inhale, stretch your right leg up to the sky. Little bend in your right knee, and we're gonna take a big hip circle in both directions. And then at the end of your second rotation, hook your right foot in front of the left knee, downward facing dog pigeon, supta pigeon. So the right foot crosses over the left thigh, like standing figure four. Think about pushing your bum up and back. Belly button pulls in as you push through the hands. The right foot's gonna slide down and come to the outside edge of the left foot. So the two pinky fingers are kind of touching and your shins are crossed. And put a little bend in your knees, bending the left shin into the right calf, and push the bum back and away. Get into the legs. Nice. And then you can keep the right foot where it is, stretch the left leg up. Bend the left knee, hip circle in each direction. After your second hip circle, cross ankle over knee, little bend in the right knee, hips push up and back, belly in, integrated shoulders. Then left foot comes down to the outside of the right foot, little bend in the knee, tipping the shins forward so that the thighs can slide up into the hip sockets. Think about creating length through the low back up to the thoracic. Okay, and we're gonna walk our feet slowly all the way forward. Uttanasana. As you inhale, take your hands up to your thighs, halfway up. And as you exhale, forward fold. 2 more times, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Last one, inhaling in. We're gonna hold this one, belly button to spine. If you want, you can take your arms out. And if you can experiment with not using your hands and not losing your strength or length. And we'll take our hands to the hips. From the power of the hips, push down. Come on up. Very nice. We're gonna move through a few sun salutations. So at the front of your yoga mat, inhale, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, step back, plank, top of a push-up. Knees up or knees down, slowly lower down, chaturanga. Pause on your belly, flip your toenails, and before we lift up, we're gonna take a moment to push the forehead into the floor. And pull the belly button up away from the floor so that the spine's really protected. Then push into your hands and begin to pull back, slingshotting the heart forward, and then curling up into the upper heart. Chin in, throat back. And slowly lower down the way you came up. Push through your hands and your knees. Tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Imagine that your bones were like straws and you could breathe through these tubes within your body, these tubes that other people's ideas can get stuck in. And imagine that you can help clean out the residue from other people so you don't have such a big influence in your organism. Look forward to come forward, bottom of the exhale, step or hop, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Coming all the way up, push in from your hips. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands to their heart center. One more, inhale, reach up. Exhale, belly pulls in, sit bones draw back, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, plank. Nice. On your next exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Flip your toes, pull your belly in, inhale, draw forward. Broaden across your shoulder blades, your collarbones. Draw the throat back. Try to peel the heart open. Keep peeling the heart open as you pull yourself forward and lower down, lowering the front of your body one vertebrae at a time. Press through your hands. Downward facing dog. Let's do a bonus calf stretch here. So the right toes will come behind the left ankle. The two peace fingers of the right toes, peel, or however you want to use your toes, to help peel down the left heel. Keep a little bend in the left knee. Draw the belly in and try to lift your left sit bone more up. And find a targeted area in the back of that thigh, calf. Switch sides. Right foot down, left toes over right heel. Lengthening from the back of the knee down to the back of the heel, back of the knee up to the right hamstring. Really nice, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward, step your feet forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway. With or without hands, exhale, forward fold. From your hips, root down, inhale all the way up. And exhale, hands at heart center. As your eyes come back to your breath. And come back to your thinking mind. Noticing all these different influences we have coming at us at all times. And then release your hands down, find something to look at for your balance. And then we're gonna shift the weight over to the left hip or the left heel. So a little bend in your left knee. You can keep moving the pelvis a little bit over the left as you weight down and then lift your right foot up. We're gonna do our breathing like Tai Chi lunges. So the right foot lifts, left hand lifts. Inhale, and then as you exhale, step the right foot back. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. As soon as you exhale, we're going to go to the side. So now the pelvis shifts over the right heel. Inhale, left foot up, turning a little bit to the left thigh, so getting some gentle movement in the pelvis. And taking a little twist to the right, left toe step back. And then up again. Stork pose is what I think they call this. And back. Up. Now we're going to go to the side, left foot to the left. Shift the weight to the left foot, right foot comes up. Right foot goes back. Right foot comes up. And now we're going to go over to the right. Left foot up. Left foot back. Left foot up. Left foot side. One more time each round. See if you can get a little bit more like easeful fluid. Left foot back. Up. Inside. Up. Up. Side. Really nice. Stretch your arms up to the sky. We're going to take a little side bend to the right. So bend into the left knee. This is going to be a segmental side bend. And see if you can slide down your right leg. Slide up it. Other side, bend into your right knee. Right arm up, slide down. I like to have my hand hang over. And I'll put a little bend in your knees. Imagine letting the sit bone slide back. And as the sit bone slide back, belly button comes to thighs, chest comes to knees, hands come down. And from here, we're going to roll up. So push down through your heels and roll all the way up to standing. Arms come up. Now at the peak of your up, the bum drags back. And you waterfall down over the leg. So you can do these final rolls up and down pretty slow. Or you could do them faster. Don't have your eyes closed. Imagining that all of these little rivers, channels inside of your body, which you have so many, which thoughts and experiences can get stuck in, we're rippling them out and creating movement so they don't get stuck. And next time you come down, we're going to work our way back to child's pose. Focus on your exhale. Allowing the weight of things, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, unneeded, begin to slide away from you. We're going to do some spinal rolls in table with the help of our hands. The hands will pull back towards you as you inhale and round forward. The hands don't move, but they pull back to the knees, pulling you up to table with a rounded spine. And as the shoulders get over the hands, look forward and then push your hands forward without moving them. Send the sitting bones back to your heels so you arch on your way back. Inhale, round, pull yourself up with your hands. And then as you exhale, push yourself back. You do this with your elbows a little bit bent or straight. So we put to table, stay there. We're gonna take the right hand down, like the pinky edge hand down, kind of like the forearm a little bit further forward. And we're gonna be isometrically pulling the right hand back, trying to get the right armpit to go forward. We're gonna do a small ripple through the spine. So I'm gonna inhale. And a very small ripple is gonna go all the way up to the top of my head with my breath as I'm pulling back with my arms. And then as I exhale, really small melt. Inhale. Drag the breath up through the back of the diaphragm, through the back of the heart. And find a ripple of movement that feels good for you. This is very subtle, so you won't feel it as much as when we do our bigger rolls. And then we're going to switch sides. Not to your right hand, left pinky edge, forearm come down towards the floor, getting the back to be more expansive. And pulling the hands back as you get the ripple of breath up from the back body to the back of the neck. And exhale, melting just so slightly. Really nice. Back to child's pose. Bring your hands back by your feet. My arms stretch forward again as you inhale, roll up through table. As you come over, your hands look forward, send your butt back a little bit until you're in like a cow, and then lower down knees, chest, chin. My knees are over on the floor, so my chest is gonna come between my heart, chin's gonna come straight forward. And then I'm gonna pull myself forward towards my belly. Send your right knee up, side cobra, so the right knee is gonna come up. Spin your hands to the right. Right chest turns in towards the right armpit. Push the left hand down and forward and think about puffing up through the back of your heart. And if it would feel better to take this more into a twist with the right hand behind your back, you can do that. I get a lot of juicy stuff in my front hip if I keep my chin towards my chest and pulling the left ribs in. And then lower back down through cobra. Left knee slides up. Hands pivot to the left. Push through the hands. Left chest spinning to the left armpit. Right hand pushing down and forward. Right rib pulls in. Back of the ribs expand. Follow the sensation. Very nice, and then lower down. Cobra, prep, hands on the floor. Let's do 10 hands up onto your fingertips. Fingers turn out, thumbs turn in. Squeeze your thumbs in towards each other, and then peel the chest up off the floor. And do little backward shoulder rolls. Belly in, try to get the scapulas to articulate on the rib cage. Now, I don't come up too high. I keep my low back pretty low, so I'm not giving myself too deep of a back bend, getting into the shoulders. Okay, now squeeze both of your thumbs together. The biceps are engaged, and then we're going to drop the right shoulder to the middle. Come back up. Squeeze in left shoulder. You just keep doing this on your own. Okay, next time we're gonna come all the way down and bring your hands out like a cactus, forehead on the floor. And then bend your left heel into your butt and then reach your left heel over towards your right hand. So a little bit of a twist. Turn your right ear to the floor. This can be made more intense for the right arm by straightening your right arm more into a T instead of a cactus. Right hand pushes down, right shoulder pulls up. You're back through center. Cactus the arms, head through center. Right leg reaches up and over to the left. Left ear comes to the floor. Maybe left arm stretches out into a T. Left armpit lifts up, left shoulder draws back. A slow twist to the right. So we're gonna roll all the way over and come to our back. On our back, we're gonna do a little bit of hips and then we'll end. So right foot straight on the floor, left foot up to the sky. Push the left butt down into the floor, right foot stays on the floor so the knees bend. And we're gonna do little pulses with the left leg. So try to kick the left toes up to your face and then bring it back to where it started. But try to keep the left hip rooting down. So warming up the hip and the hamstrings. And then we're gonna draw this left leg into a big circle. So the left toes will pull down to the face, but the butt still pushes in. And then the left leg is gonna open all the way out to the side, to the left. And then down. Take it in both directions. Now it comes back around, we're gonna cross the left ankle over the right knee. Squeeze right foot and left knee together, or left foot, right knee. And we're gonna do little pulses without our hands. One knee and out. Experiment going at an angle, pulling right knee towards left armpit. If that changes anything, or right knee towards right armpit. And we're going to take a little side to side twist. So not using our hands, using our core and our legs. Go from one side to the other. On the right side, right hip comes onto the floor. Keep it there. So the right pinky toe, outer right knee, right hip on the floor. Bring the left foot to the floor. So the left knee's up to the sky. And then take your right hand to the front of your left hip. Maybe your left hand comes and joins. You can push your hip away here. You can also take your fingers to the outside of your left hip and your thumbs on the inside of your left hip. And you can begin to squeeze and palpate underneath your left hip or up onto your attachments to your quad, or even up more onto your side waist. Nice. And then bring your feet back to center, both feet on the floor. And do a few bridges. You can go straight up and down, or you can roll up and down. And then we'll repeat it on the other sides, taking the right leg up. Feeling the subtleties of movements as the left leg goes up, left hip pushes down, and then little bounces of the left toe up to the face. And we're going to externally rotate the hip 2 times, once in each direction. And then we'll take the foot across the left knee when it's time into the supine pigeon. No hands. I tend to take my hands behind my head. And with the resistance of the legs, beginning to pump the knees in and out. Investigating, finding your sensation. Taking it at your diagonals. And we'll take it into our little twist from side to side. If you have a tendency to lift your ribs a lot, so you go side from side, you could think about pulling the front of the ribs in and puffing through the back of the ribs. You're getting more of a massage on the back of the rib cage, keeping that area full. And we'll come into our little massage of the left knee over to the left, right foot on the floor. Positioning yourself up in a way that you can stay. And then using your hands. And when you feel ready, bringing your feet back to the midline. Do another bridge. You walk it out, opening up through the front of the hips, quads, chest. And coming down to a rest on your back. Pretty brief. You know what's here now. Letting yourself exist in this time and space with whatever else is existing Beginning to deepen your breath. Moving through your toes and your fingers. And stretching through the arms and the legs. We begin to make our way up to our seat. Maybe taking my hands up to the heart. Going back to your intention. And remembering you can do these little mini mindfulness breaks to kind of jolt yourself out of being in the past or anticipation of the future and being with what's here now. Thanks for joining me. Namaste.